We're doing it live. Welcome everybody to the first episode of Podcasting Call here on our new channel on YouTube, Mutiny Theater Company. I'm here with the boys. To the right of me, Chase, and in the center we've got Trey. If you guys would like to introduce yourself a little bit before we start with
Oh,
the
you got it.
podcast.
Me? Okay. Hi. He said my name. It's Trey.
Be normal. Dear
I'm
God,
like-
please be normal.
Oh no, it's all right, baby. That's good. I'm Trey Upton, and I'm like the new president of MTC, of Mutiny Theater Company, and this is our podcast. It's really cool. Got it, Chase.
I'm Chase. I'm the treasurer of MTC. I do voiceover stuff.
And I am Evan. I'm in charge of social media and content, as you can see here. And I guess we will all kind of host and say ideas for this podcast. I don't know. We're winging it. This is our first episode, so it's just, we're winging it. I have no setup. Yeah, but let's just dive into it. So I think first things first, we should get this out of the way. What is MTC and what do we do? We should probably tell the people that are watching this video what we do, a little bit about ourselves as a company.
Well, MTC is a brand. It's an idea. It's hip now. It's in. What it is, it's a theater company led by like a bunch of college students, and we'll put on our own shows that we will have people that are young writers and actors and whatever. They'll write their own shows that they want put on, and then they will come to us, and then we'll put it on for them, and we'll help them, set up venues and rehearsals and all that fun stuff that you have to do when you're doing that. Yeah, it's a great time, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, same. It's like you had this written down and like somewhere that you're reading off a teleprompter or something.
Keep nodding along with what I say. Look at these followers.
Hey, you're the CEO. Please don't fire us. Should we talk about how we got to this position or like how we know each other? Well, we're not going to go too in detail.
Yeah,
It's a bit uncomfortable to talk about in some sense.
October morning.
I was in a acting 2 class or an acting 1 class. And at the start of it, I walked into Trey's voice for the actor class, and I talked to his teacher about some voiceover stuff. And then he overheard me, and then we started a voiceover club. So that's how I met Trey. And Evan, I met Evan at She Kills Monsters when he played Chuck, the DM.
Yeah.
So that was fun, and then we all grew as friends that way.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I met Evan in the bathroom. Actually, remember that?
Oh yeah. You were begging like on your knees to like get me into voiceover club in the bathroom,
I wouldn't
right?
say that. I wouldn't put it that way. I would say.
Wait,
it
did
was
y'all
more
actually
like-
meet each other in the bathroom?
Yeah, you don't
Sure.
remember that?
Okay, no. Okay,
You remember that?
Dick's about it. Where'd y'all actually meet though?
No, I think we met voiceover club. Voiceover club,
Yeah, oh,
legitly.
okay, I was lying. I was totally lying. Yeah, we met at the Voiceover Club.
Because I mean,
Oh, okay.
Trey wasn't a part of She Kills. I mean, we saw each other occasionally with the stage combat class because we were.
Yeah,
in the
he
same
didn't
class.
make the cast. Me and Evan made the cast though.
Yeah, I was told I suck ass. I was told a lot of other horrible things. Like they bullied me, they beat me down, they put my face in dirt and all that stuff. They gave me black eyes, they gave me a broken nose and stuff. They gave me, but yeah, I'm still glad to be part of the audition process. It was still a blast. If we do it again, yeah, definitely keep trying to get that grind out there.
The audition process specifically for She Kills Monsters. You do it again.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
But no, Trey and I were met in passing, like occasionally in stage combat, but we didn't really talk to each other until like Voiceover Club. And then once MTC started, it was when we got like, became closer as friends. But I mean,
Yeah.
we knew of each other, but I don't think we became friends until MTC kind of started.
Well, I saw that you had like your Letterman jacket on, and you had like a football under your arm and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ! Please,
there's
real stories.
no
It's gonna be
point
hard to
in talking to this
read for
guy.
people.
There's no point in me trying to engage in conversation with this guy. He's clearly on another level. Like
Do I need to put like a thing in editing where it's like lie alert is like flashing on the screen every time, like Trey?
Yeah, that's actually, yeah. Could you do that? That would make it so much easier.
I don't
for
think I would do
people
the
to
blaring sound because I don't think we're going to be able to hear anybody if we do the blaring sound, but I will add like a lie alert thing in post because I feel like that's hilarious.
Because Trey's sarcasm is very hard to tell if he's being sarcastic.
You bring me on the show, you get mad when I do my shtick. Come on.
But no.
Okay, I was lying. Okay, there you go. I'm a psychological liar. There you go.
Clip it and ship it.
Okay. There you go.
But no, Chase and I, as well as Noah, kind of knew each other from She Kills Monsters, and that's where I met a ton of people from MTC, is She Kills. And then we did Emerging Works, and that was definitely an experience. And then because of a situation with Emerging Works, we started MTC, where we got to show off a ton of the projects. And I feel like with that, a lot of us became closer friends because of that experience.
Glad you brought up Noah. Can we just take a minute to just gush about Noah?
Yeah, wait, come back to that. My favorite part about the process for MTC, like out of all of it, was doing the rehearsal and the very beginning, like when we just decided let's walk over to the library. So we just did it in like the library classrooms and like we moved all the. I actually genuinely enjoyed that. And you had like 15 people in one room that was like in a classroom,
and everyone
just
was
sitting
like
on tables,
super passionate as well, like about this as well. Like we really wanted this thing to succeed. A funny story, I remember. So it was that rehearsal, and everyone was quitting their shows and stuff. I was dressed in my costume like an idiot, preparing for dress rehearsal that day. So I was in the dress room going like, well, now it looks stupid. I'm in a costume for this show.
And for those of you who don't know, Evan's role in the show was he. Why are you laughing, Trey? I'm trying to get a story out. Evans, the reason it's funny because the costume was a gimp suit for a show we were doing called Dominatrix.
Definitely. Yeah.
And when he walked in, it was like he had come back from rehearsal, so we didn't know why he had it on. So it was a really weird process, but that show ended up getting cut.
But I remember, like, specifically with that costume, with the Dominatrix costume, I was in the dressing room and I got a call and a text from Noah and a call from like other people being like, hey, we need you at the library. We're about to do something. You need to be here now. And I was like, what the hell is happening? I'm like,
when we eventually like actually called it and said we're all pulling our shows.
Well, it was after you guys all said we're pulling our shows, because I remember getting like 15 different texts of like, Evan, you need to come to the library now. We're doing this meeting regarding Emerging Works and the situation we're in. You need to be here now. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I'm trying to get like changed back into my normal clothes because I don't want to walk into the library with a gimp suit on.
It was actually a normal suit.
No, I think it was my purple outfit for like King of Vander, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, with the purple button down.
Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly. But I remember going into there, and I think I said this. It was the happiest we were all throughout the entire Emerging Works process. Because I mean, everyone was super passionate regarding their ideas for shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it was an energy I had never seen from anybody throughout the entire process. Because it felt like the Emerging Works process, it felt like we were just getting beaten down like crazy.
Yeah, especially since there wasn't a cap on how many shows somebody could be in. Like, there was, I think, 7 shows, and I was in 5 of them. Trey was in 5 of them.
I think I
Darcy was in 4.
I was in 3 or 4.
Yeah, so we had to learn lines for all those shows in a matter of a month or 2.
Yeah.
Which is weird, flipping back between shows. You have Monday, Wednesday, you have Cicada, and then Tuesday, Thursday, you'd have Eris and Psyche. But also paired with that, Monday, Wednesday would be like Cicada and Guards, and then Tuesday, Thursday would be Eros and Psyche and Improv.
You would have like 2 shows in a rehearsal day that you would have to make sure you remember your characters for.
Yeah, two or 3.
Yeah.
And it was nuts.
The workload was freaking insane for that entire process.
And Trey, were you off? I know I wasn't off book, but were you off book before we pulled?
Was I? I think if I wasn't, then I was like nearly there. But I'm pretty sure I was. Yeah.
And Trey was directing one of his shows. His shows was Cicada, probably my favorite. It was my favorite, and is out of the original works right now. But he was having to learn lines for Banner, one of the other characters in the show, because Zach, the original Banner, pulled, so Trey was gonna have to learn it. But then we eventually found Dylan, so got lucky on that one.
Dylan, who's our current tech director, who wasn't in Emerging Works but came into MTC when he heard us talking about it.
Yeah, and then learned a part real fast. So good for him.
Yeah.
Bless that man. Bless that man.
And going back to what Trey was talking about, Noah. Noah's not in this call, but for those of y'all who don't know Noah, that's a real man. If
a man's man.
Yeah, go on about him.
Where do I start? I mean, he's handsome, smart. I mean, list goes on. I can't even stand up.
Noah was Gabriel in Cicada.
He was great.
He was another lead in the show.
You were great. I think both of you were excellent.
You did a good job writing it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, but like, you two, y'all like inhabited the characters so perfectly for like how I envisioned it, because Noah is so laid back and he really fit into that role with Gabriel so well. And then for Jedediah, you like brought that kind of like childlike whimsy in a way, like, because he very much flips back and forth between like a childhood kind of sense of like wonder and like, you know, like teenager mood swing kind of vibes. Like you really like,
yeah,
and like you got this like the sense of that, which is awesome. I loved it. It was great. Yeah.
I appreciate that,
man. Going back to like the day that we like formed MTC, it was actually like y'all were talking about. It was so like energetic and enthusiastic. Like when I was there, sitting there, I like, for me, I was just kind of like, I feel like I was still shell shocked by everything.
Oh wait, before you go on, I wanted to just mention, let's not bring up their names.
Oh,
just yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I want to. I was making sure we don't.
Address at the bottom of the screen. We'll put their zip code here. We'll put their full name, their phone number,
and here's their driver's license.
Make and model of their car. But yeah, what? Carry on with what you're saying. That first day, you were like shell shocked.
In my face right now.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, it was I was like shell shocked during it because I was still just like bummed out about like the whole situation and how things had gone, and like, you know, on all that crap that people may or may not know if they're listening to this. I don't know if we want to get too into that. We can do that later, but like just like
my mom had cancer.
Oh,
I
wasn't gonna say it, but okay.
So I had to ask for a day off, and because she was getting her, it wasn't like anything major. It was just like a facial reconstruction thing, and she didn't want to be alone for that. So I asked for a day off, and then basically our director said no, but it wasn't really like I was making sure that my dad didn't have to take off work because he was doing something important at work that day. So when I got told no, it was kind of like messed up in my head, but it just wasn't a good situation. Didn't play out and pan out how I wanted to. And there was speculation on why I was missing. And, I don't really blame anybody too much just because, like, it's hard to know somebody's situation, especially if they don't talk about it. So, I'm not going to cast stones or anything, but I can understand where the miscommunication came from.
That's like one of those things where it's confidential, like.
Yeah. And you kind of like, I don't want it to be a pity party or something.
Like, we get that you need to go. Like we none of us even knew at that point like what it was that you needed, but like we get like you needed the day, and we were like, that's fine. But then it was the people in charge, the faculty, that were like, no way, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So then that's when I got booted. Basically, I got kicked out of all the shows, and I was in 5 shows at that point. And
you were the lead for pretty much all of them as well, which was
I was the lead for 4, and lead for 3 technically, and then you count improv if that's a lead, and then Oro, which I was the lead for. Well, me and Trey were kind of toggling before, like the lead stuff, because he wanted to play the evil queen.
That was the Mad Queen. That was sick. I love it.
Yeah, and either way, when it got pulled, like, we had worked for so long on it that one of the faculty members wanted to step in and play my part for 2 of the shows if he had to. So it was just a really weird situation. So when I told everybody that and I'd been kicked, there was like an outrage, and then as well as one of our other performers that was in Emerging Works got kicked out with me, and they basically everybody rallied between both of us and kind of stood up for what they believed in, whether they thought it was wrong or right. They heard each party out and then made a decision. So I'm glad with what happened.
Yeah, me too. I don't regret a damn thing.
Yeah, and the Emerging Works process was weird because, I mean, they very much said that it was shows that we were putting on, and it seemed like they very much controlled how each show processed ultimately, if you think about it.
Yeah, from an outside point, like when I say outside, not director's point of view, I would hear a lot of the whole point of Emerging Works, what Evan said, was for the students to take over and direct their own shows that they had written. So this wasn't domain they were pulling up from, and they weren't having somebody else direct. It was supposed to be student led with minimal guidance is what was advertised. So when it was changing lines in the shows and changing blocking and changing rehearsal times and making a lot of dictations about stuff. I don't even know if that's a word, but like dictating what was going to happen in the show. It didn't feel like it was student led. It felt like it was more student constrained rather than. But a director would probably have more to say about that. Trey, if you want to.
To put it in short, it felt like I was being puppeteered. Like I had someone's hand up my ass, controlling things without my say, and offering things that didn't need to be offered and suggest. I'm cool if you have an idea and I'll listen to it. But don't like force it down my throat and be like, you need to do this instead of that because it would work better. Like, I know what's gonna work good for my show. Thank you. It's cool. Thanks. Oh.
Yeah. It was a bit weird. It felt like they were taking over more than the students were allowed to even like put on. So that was a weird thing, and that was a good thing about MTC because like when it broke off, blocking got reintroduced. It wasn't so expressive. Like they wanted to do super contemporary things with the work that was supposed to be like modern contemporary rather than like I don't know. How would y'all describe the things? Were you on the acting 2 class? I can't remember. Where we would do the super modern contemporary stuff, Like you can cut people off with lines, and like audio would randomly play throughout it. It was one of those, like, if you think about dance, like think about breakdancing, and then you expect to go to a breakdancing show, and then you get interpretive dance. That's what it kind of felt like. Because for Trey's, it was a super realistic show, like super realistic, about a war prisoner imprisoned and making a friend out of a runaway soldier, and it was supposed to be super like normal, right? And then it got introduced as a dreamscape, walking between realities, trying to show it off with lights and colors and stuff. And it didn't really work for what the director and the writer had intended it to be. So it was really weird. So when we left and MTC was created, there was a lot more creative liberties that were taken. And for a theater company that was just started and only had a month or so of rehearsal, we made pretty good money from it. I think we evened out, right? From
think
budget.
So it's been a while since we talked money. I wasn't in the board at the time, so I didn't know money wise, and it was before I did online ticket sales, so I didn't know from that.
Yeah, so we got close to making our money back, which in theater, if you're just starting out as a theater company, it's going to be hard to do. So we were really excited with that. And even though the audience was mostly our friends and like family that came, and like we weren't charging super much for like a lot of money for the tickets, I was really happy with the turnout.
I mean, if you think about it, Emerging Works was pretty much a free show to go to for students. So I think we did better than what we did for Emerging Works, because as one of the Trey and I had to go back to Emerging Works for one of the shows, and I think we didn't see a lot of turnout for any of the Emerging Works shows that were actually put on. I think the highest we ever got was like 13, and it was like a one night. And I think the majority were like less than 10 for shows.
Yeah, the night that you were talking about for when y'all were there, it was mostly MTC people coming to support y'all.
Yeah.
And that was when I got unbanned from the theater.
Speaking of, what was how many total shows were there before we pulled? Was it like?
Oh yeah,
it had to have been close to 10. Close to.
It was 10. It was 8 shows because you had Oro, Cicada, Olivia's show, y'all's show, Eros and Psyche, Improv Guards,
Jay's show,
and Jay's show. So 1 got booted and 5 pulled, so there were 2 shows left.
And
so there were 8 original,
as well as the 2 short films that were also shown.
Right.
Oh yes. So you're right. So 10 shows, and there was only 4 left. So it did some damage for what happened.
Yeah.
And that's not what we intended. It was just mostly people felt wronged, and we're not intending to jeopardize a show in any way.
Yeah,
and we also we promoted it a little bit. I know I did. Like I tried to get my friends to go see Emerging Works, and like I pulled up myself with a bunch of MTC members. So
yeah, it was not malicious at all. It was very much just we put a lot of time and passion and money into these projects, and we just wanted to see them out because we couldn't under the rulings that were put upon us regarding those shows. So we just wanted to put it into a space that we know we could do right by what we've already put into it.
Yeah.
For me, I just filled in last minute for one of our other company members that dropped one of the shows after everything went down, and I just was like, "Hey, I'll volunteer. I'll fill in. I'll do the part." So it was a small part for like I think the show, Evan, was only like a 15-minute show. It was like a 20. It was really short.
It was a pretty long show. I think it was maybe over 30 minutes. The only reason why I know that is because I had to legit say the same stuff at the beginning and the end, so it just lasted longer.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, like it was just a small part, and I was like, hey, I already was here like every day doing stuff with y'all. I'm not just gonna. Y'all need something, I'll do it. And then they asked me to fill in for that role, and I was like, I'll do it. Yeah, sure, why not? It was just a small role, and it was cool. And I it was like the week of like the performance date, so I had I was reading the book and I was like, how can I incorporate me reading this book into like into the show as best as possible? So I made it to where in the scene I'm like some drugged up dude that's like trying to write song lyrics, and I'm like I have a pencil in my hand, I have the book, and I'm like pretending to jot stuff down as like everyone's talking, and I'm like jotting stuff down in the book. I was just like scrambling for ideas because it was like I had maybe 3 or 4 days to prepare for this role, probably less, I think, actually, now looking back on it. But it was still cool. I loved it. It was really fun. Got to be a drugged up dude. It was really fun.
No, it was good. And then at the end, when you had known your lines, you just ripped your book apart and like threw it.
It was already ripped, so I was like, all right, I don't need that one.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a cool little incorporation.
And then if we
so there's
go ahead.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is there's like a sub. So MTC is Mutiny Theater Company, but then there's also like subsections. So like it's not just plays. Like we'll also do improv comedy and then voiceover. So like with MTC, it's written works. We're getting into public domain shows. We have improv and we have voiceover. So there's like a lot of different things, and voiceover is doing really well. When me and Trey made it, we had 3 consistent members at the time, and that was Zach, Jack, and Colin.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool, and we eventually I say we, but really Trey got us to meet with Rico Fajardo, which is the My Hero Academia Mirio, and also on a bunch of other like shows for anime characters.
Recently in Blue Lock, I think he's one of the
he's in Blue Lock. I could pull up his IMDb, but
I could put it on screen. And just,
we can do it later. But yeah, he is in a lot of animes. So that's mainly what everybody there wants to do, with a couple people in cartoons and a couple people in commercial focus. But that was a super cool experience, like knowing how much power just having a title on it will get somebody to come over there. Because for an appearance fee, it's around, I don't know for Mr. Fajardo, but for a voiceover, it ranges from a guaranteed 500 to a guarantee of 30,000 for a voiceover just to show up to a convention for a weekend. So for you said what?
Especially for his caliber, he's a big name.
Oh yeah, I'd probably put him in the 5,000 range. And then there's a couple one-offs that are like Chris Sabat, that's going to be like 30,000 a convention or something, where they make insane amounts of money and have huge turnout and a huge line. So having him come there and like really teach us about voiceover and breath control and different ways to get into the headspace of a character and like centering ourselves was a really cool experience to have for free, just because he recognized that young actors were trying to make it. And I really appreciate him for that. And we're also working on getting a couple other voiceovers. I won't spoil it for other people, but I'll tell you in a minute, Evan, when we're done with this.
And just to flash forward, I mean, after the emerging works experience, was kind of just putting our pedal to the metal in terms of trying to push forward with what we can do with MTC. Because originally we wanted it just to be a one-off, right? We wanted to, after From the Ashes, we wanted to see how From the Ashes did and then go from there pretty much regarding the show. Because some of us did want to push it forward, but I know some of us also were like very hesitant on like wanting to do anything past with the show with MTC once From the Ashes happened.
There was some hesitation, but the consensus was just a one-off show.
Yeah.
But now we're on our 4th, right? We're on our 4th production.
I think so. So
yeah, because we had
From the
Cicado,
Ashes,
Eris, and Psyche Guards, which is From the Ashes. Then we had who show was it with Noah, Ray,
Unmarked,
Corinthia, Darcy's show, Unmarked. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't remember who made it. Unmarked, and
then we had the show
Ray Van Vleck.
Yeah, Ray's show, which just happened like January. And then now we're doing in the works of our next show currently.
Which I guess we can announce. It's Patriots and Tyrants by Austin Kiefer.
Yep. I'll put the poster on.
When are the auditions?
Auditions are pretty much as soon as possible. I think we said Monday is when it's gonna quote unquote open. But if you go to the website right now, you can technically turn in stuff as we speak.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And the website is Mutiny Theater Company.
Yes, mutinytheatercompany.com. It's right below me in the overlay down there. If you go to that website, there's a button that says audition here. Hit that button and it'll take you right to the form where submissions are happening. Fill out the form, turn in your video audition, because we're doing it a bit different this time. We're not doing it in person.
Yeah.
Read out one of the sides, turn in that video submission through that form into the folder, and then complete the form, and boom, you may be considered to be part of the next show we're doing.
It's a big show.
Yeah. It is 18 to 19 characters in the show, so a lot of roles. Are our emails in the website?
The Mutiny Theater email is in the website, and also there is a contact us form in the website as well.
Okay, awesome. And if you want to pitch a show, we have our spring pitch coming up. We'll put a date on the website, and we can hear your pitch out through a Zoom call if you can't make it in person. Are we doing in person with that one, or do we know yet?
It'll be Zoom. It'll most likely be Zoom.
Yeah, if it's Zoom, it's easier. If not, it'll be a hybrid, so it'll be Zoom and in person. So sick. Yeah, so feel free to pitch a show. Just make a slideshow, have the budget prepared, and what the show's about.
But yeah, after we were done with From the Ashes, we had some people leave. That was when we had that preconceived notion of we should pay ourselves for ticket sales, which looking back on, we really shouldn't have done.
No, we paid. We paid. And the reason we paid, I stand by that, is because the whole pitch for people to come out and really not for people to come out and stick with it rather than just saying like giving up. We said we would give a stipend for everybody that showed up, and that helped with turnout, and that helped with people coming to rehearsals and inviting people. So I stand by that first one.
Yeah.
Second one, iffy. It's a toss up.
I don't think we got paid for the second one. I remember not getting paid for the second one.
We didn't get paid for the second one.
We decided not to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We decided
not to. Before, that was like around the time when I got involved in the board, and the decision was already finalized. Like, no one's getting paid.
But
yeah, which is fine. We need to keep the budget anyways. But that first one, I stand by that easy. We had a big cast for those shows.
Yeah.
So we had 15, 20 people involved each night.
It was 4 whole shows.
Yeah. Four whole shows with casts and ensemble and stuff. So keeping them there was hard enough with the money. I'm probably the biggest one that was hard to keep there because I was gone a lot. I was doing things. So I mean, we got through it.
I mean, we also had them, right? Yeah.
Dang.
We're talking at the same time.
Whoa.
But we had the GoFundMe as well that helped. So I'm gonna repeat feedback.
Yeah, we're getting that from your computer, Trey.
What's going on?
Nothing. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess it's
feedback. We're good now. But we had the GoFundMe that did pretty well. I mean, we haven't had the same turnout since then. But we got it basically helped fund the show easy, no problem for anything From the Ashes related. That was our biggest help for that. But From the Ashes was 3 of the plays that we did for Emerging Works, as well as bringing back improv, which has the improv has kind of become our new standard for MTC, like in terms of putting together.
A big thing we're missing out on is the Trace. I'm getting feedback from Trace. A big thing we're missing out on is selling advertisements and playbills, I'm still going to be the one to say that it's going to be the best form of fundraising we can have other than going as a nonprofit. But
I think
if
so
we
too.
go into like Lens Crafters in Wiley, like I remember I got money from them for my men's volleyball club at the high school, and it was super simple. Like you just walk in, you say, "Hey, here's our packages. If you want to be a part of this, like we'd really appreciate it. We're a struggling company and we just need help. And we'll put you on the playbill. We'll put a message out before the show, and it takes 5 minutes just to walk in there and say something. And if you devote an hour of your time to doing it, you can make some pretty good money.
Yeah. And then once we did From the Ashes, which turned out pretty well for our first show, like this new company that just like popped into existence, I think we did pretty well for the first show.
Oh yeah, we had a packed house that first night, that Saturday night
Yeah.
Yeah.
for Cicada and Eros. Both of those nights,
We
they were
had
pretty good.
more turnout, I think, than any of the emerging work shows. Like honestly, just from our
Yeah,
movie
we
theater
had
stuff.
we had some really good turnout.
And then from there we went to our second show, which was Unmarked, which was another student created play. It was well, actually, no, we didn't do that for a second one because we won't talk about it, but we had something we were planning to do in between, which fell through. Then we decided to take a break to rethink some stuff, and then we went to Unmarked.
Yeah.
But Unmarked was our second piece that we put on, and we paired that with improv as well. That one was a pretty fun show, like artistically, because it was a very artsy drama that I think was really well made as well.
Written and directed by our very own Darcy Crocus.
Yeah, the one that
Yep.
the one that's made the logo that you see in the center right there.
One right there.
Yep.
One.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right,
nice.
right
I don't know which way.
There.
It'll be for you. It'll be there. I don't know.
Yeah. For Trey, you'll be pointing up. It's in
Hold it
the
up.
center. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
But that one was pretty well. That was us introducing ticket sales options online because we wanted to do people buying it in advance because a lot of people were wanting to do that. But we got that up.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great thing to do.
But we had that, and that one was a tough one as well as one of the funnest shows, I think. But the reason it was a tough one is we had a lot of issues with like showing up because there was a ton of outside events that were happening that would just prevent people from showing up, whether it was like inclement weather in some places or like work popping up out of nowhere. I remember some shows where it was like certain people were called and I was the only one there at some points, and it was like, what do we do for this rehearsal? I definitely think that was one of the hardest we ever worked, but also the one where when it came closer to time for when the show came on, I feel like we were the most stressed out because there was a lot of rehearsals days where a lot of people were missing due to unfortunate accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trey,
you were crew, Evan, and you were there more consistently than some of the cast.
Yeah.
And what show? What was this for? Unmarked?
This was Unmarked. So I was technically just what do you call it? I was just an understudy for the show, so I wasn't technically a part of it, unless they needed me to. But I mean, I was the only one that kind of consistently showed up, like when they needed
I remember
me.
I showed up when nobody was there.
Yeah, that's because
I wasn't even a part.
Yeah, that's because it was improv. We had improv rehearsals during the week, so sometimes you were there and you would be there rather than some people.
Yeah, and I'd help. I helped twice. I know with the script and helped with like lines and stuff.
But
I still think we need to bring back Cicada and do another round of that since it's easy, minimal props. You know, I am a big advocate for that.
We got a Cicada stand over here.
We do.
I mean,
yeah, I love that show.
I think any of our works that we've put on, we could honestly put up again if we wanted to in the future.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
for sure.
Eros and Psyche was pretty good. We could put
Guards.
that up. Yeah, Guards was
a
quick one.
comedy, a written comedy that like a pure written comedy that's insanely hard to do. And Chief Daddy Austin Kiefer did an amazing job at that. So there's funny moments and dramas, but writing a comedy, it takes balls because you don't know if people are gonna laugh.
Yeah, we have.
You have no chance that the audience gonna like you spend time on this and it could just bomb.
Yeah,
you will know.
Why do you think we haven't done a comedy since? Like the closest thing to comedy is improv.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. But he had tons of laughs during that show. So Eros and Psyche was outstanding. Guards was outstanding. Cicada was outstanding. We could do any one of those and just pair it with something new. But I think we should do more runs of just shows we already know.
Yeah.
I'm also firmly behind the idea of just doing a straight improv just doing just an improv show. Just that.
Yeah.
Being it.
That one would be easier than any of the other shows, honestly.
Yeah, and improv was something. Yeah, I really enjoy improv.
We have good days and we have not so great days in improv.
We had nobody show up once.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
We had nobody show up. That was awful.
But yeah, Unmarked we did with improv, and then afterwards we had the fun of the next show, which is our latest show that Trey was involved in, which was created by Ray, which was another drama piece.
Speck of Light, right?
Yeah, Speck of Light. And I mean, that was a process and a half as well, because originally we wanted to do Godot, didn't we? But then we realized...
it was pitched as Godot, and then some of us, won't say who, was afraid that some legal entities could potentially, hypothetically, come after us for doing that show.
Is it out public domain?
It's up in the air. I'm pretty sure it's been 100 years, I think.
Yeah, but they may have renewed copyright laws for that. That is something they can do.
Are you looking it up, Evan?
Yeah, I'm doing research.
Jarvis, fact check that.
Jarvis, show me this guy's balls, please.
Jarvis, enhance.
But that was our original decision for that. But then we decided to do because we were worried about that copyright reason, to do a piece that was like Godot, but not really. It was more created by us. Like, it was stylistically kind of like Godot.
Yeah, we haven't done a show that was written by somebody else.
Yeah.
Like outside of the company. So I want to venture into that.
Yeah, I really want to try a public domain show. I was really excited to do Godot. I was so excited for it. My audition is actually what inspired Ray to write Speck of Light, though, because it was based on the audition that I did. It was the my audition was the poem that Willy Wonka does in the. I'm dead serious. It was the poem that he sings in the boat on the Chocolate River when they're in the scary tunnel. It's that poem that he sings, which was a poem written by the guy that wrote the original Willy Wonka book. I think it was a separate poem, just like unrelated to Willy Wonka, I think. And that was in the movie, and I did my own interpretation of that poem, and that was my audition. And one of the lines is, "Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing." That was where, and my movement piece that I did with it is what I guess inspired Ray to kick off doing Speck of Light instead of Godot after we were afraid of any possibilities that might happen. And it a testament to Ray, because Ray wrote that whole show in a week, like within a week, apparently.
Yeah, not for me. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a writer.
It took me several months. It took me 2 or 3 months to like finalize my script for Cicada. It actually took me longer because I actually started it. I had the idea in August, and I didn't really come back and revisit it until December, and then the show was put on in the spring. Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time on Cicada. Like I originally had the idea that summer, and then I just kind of left it until the end of that fall semester is when I came back to it and actually like hard on the paint.
That Jesus, it's a great reference. Cicada was probably the most real thing I've ever been in, because that theater was hot as fucking balls, dude. That was the hottest theater. I had overalls, a cotton plaid shirt with some wool socks, and I was sweating after each performance.
But good.
It was, oh god, because he'd yell, you get some swamp ass. It was awful. Squishing around in the back.
Yeah, it was really exciting though, doing that, and that was my first thing that I had ever written. It was obviously the first thing I ever directed. I love that, and I recently have got back into like the writing scene. I like dabbled with a few ideas, but I never like
Yeah.
I haven't like put pen to paper on any ideas that I've had for a while until recently, like the past week. Like it's been about a week now that I've started writing something else. And yeah, I just like, it's always war. It's always war. Everything I've been writing has been
That's
wartime stuff, and it's like I love history, but I don't even know why it's always gravitating to war. The past week, I've watched so many war movies. It's insane. It's not even funny.
Just so people can have some insight. I've tasked Trey with this, writing a screenplay for me for, I won't get into all the details, but about somebody's grandfather's real life World War II, right? I just want to make sure I don't get it wrong. World War One. Somebody's grandfather's World War One story. That's actually really like insanely cool. So it's a bit of a challenge because it's obviously non-dialogue. It's a typed out story and like articles of events that happened. So I'm hoping who I send it to likes it, and something comes from it. Yeah, so we'll fill you in later, Evan. But like on where that's from. But we don't want to knock on wood. We don't want to spoil anything just yet.
Yeah, the MTC is full of secrets on projects that we're working on behind the scenes. Yeah, that's our big thing at the moment. Is there's a lot of question marks on our future. I'd say we definitely want to keep MTC going. We've got a lot of great stuff in the works. Obviously we got the auditions for the new show coming out, and that we can publicly say right now. But there is a lot of cool projects that I think, especially for next season, I feel like we've got some really interesting shows on the horizon as well that are currently in the works. After that mini pitch meeting we had,
that Tyler Perry show.
Yeah, the Tyler Perry show.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry's Medea. Tyler Perry reached out to us. Tyler Perry reached out to us
to do Medea.
We've got a lot of connections.
When you put the live thing on the screen.
No, somebody pitched Medea, like the Greek myth, and a bunch of us were confused at first until we figured out it was about the Greek myth. We all thought it was like the Tyler Perry play.
But
so we're like, all right.
It was you. Yeah. It was you.
Yeah, you said it was
It was me and Dylan. Dylan admitted it.
Yeah.
I did too. I was like, I don't want to say anything because I was like, are you sure Tyler Perry is okay with you like taking his stuff? Like, is he cool with that? Like, I don't know.
Jeez.
But yeah, we got hopefully improv stuff in the works as well. We'll see. I'm hoping improv continues, either in its own show or as its own thing that we do occasionally. I mean, I love improv. I mean, I want it to continue.
I love our improv's hilarious.
Yeah.
for a certain few.
Yeah.
It's a very niche type of comedy. It makes us laugh. That's
Yeah.
what matters. We laugh harder than anybody in the audience.
I still think about that Gilbert Gottfried scene every time I hear that.
Jesus Christ, dude, you were reaching for straws on that one. That was insane. Like
Gilbert
we were
Gottfried in
cracking
The
up.
Hobbit.
We were cracking up, but some parts of that bombed, and it would hit.
Well, no, the
it
whole
would
thing
hit-
bombed. It was horrible the whole way through. I felt like a piece of shit the entire time. I felt
Dude.
horrible.
But he stayed in it. You stayed in it fully.
I
Like,
commit. I was like, what would Gilbert say next? Like, I was channeling. This was like recently, like only a few months after he passed away, and I was like channeling, like, give me strength, Gilbert's spirit. Give me strength. Give me
it was
strength.
really. It was funny for us to see him bomb a little bit. He got laughs. Like he's selling himself short. He got laughs, but the first couple minutes of it, God, it was.
Hey, would you give a prompt to someone who doesn't know anything about The Hobbit? Like, it's been a minute since I've seen anything Hobbit related. It was just me struggling.
We're talking
time
about
to push
that
it.
one.
Yeah, I was talking about the Gilbert Gottfried Hobbit adventure.
Oh, he's done Gilbert Gottfried so much. Okay, so the Hobbit one, yeah, that one 100% bombed.
Like,
And
there
then
was some
that
stuff.
one was bad.
There was some stuff that was said that we cannot say again. Like, there was some stuff that was like,
Accurate, though. It was accurate to The Hobbit. I mean, if you think about it, it was accurate to The
We're
Hobbit.
not gonna get into it.
you know,
but-
He would stand by me and everything I said, but just whatever, it's all right.
if you know, you know. But
No.
yeah, I've had a couple ideas for improv, and Dylan has a couple ideas for improv stuff in the future as well. My idea, I told this to Trey. I'll put this publicly because I kind of want to see it for improv. Is I was watching a couple people in the UK who are originally an improv troupe. What are you guys
Fix
doing?
their bully slide with a bottle you might leave two in your hoodie.
But
What did you say, bro? Oh, yeah.
Carry on, Evan.
Go.
basically it's improv, but in the form of like a movie. And so there's one person that has like a TV remote that's like watching a movie, and it's like controlling like pause, rewind, fast forward, etc., kind of controlling what happens in the movie. And then the other characters are playing in that movie and acting out the scene and stuff that's happening. And I was like, that would be a really cool, like, either short segment or like a full-on play thing that we do.
I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to do an improvised production of something rather than multiple games. I'd rather do a plot that we get from the audience and then just roll with it for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and like it's legit, not trying to make jokes the whole time. Like trying to move the plot along and having jokes in there would be like very cool, like sitcom-esque. Like,
yeah,
where we follow the one person around.
But yeah, the person that's like the director, almost the person watching the show, has like a book that they write down the names of the characters and the plot that's happening in order for them to keep track of what's happening in the story. So if something happens and it derails, they can kind of push it forward still with like the remote and stuff in their hand, and so they can pause it. But I think that would be great, and I think we could call it like short film or something, because I mean it pretty much is a short film. But I think it would be kind of interesting for us to pull off, because I feel like we could do it.
Oh yeah.
Chase just tried to link with me psychically. Like, I felt psychic damage overcoming myself.
Feel it over the computer screen.
You know, lay down for a second.
But yeah, that was I'm trying to think of what to say now. But that was kind of I'd say our past with MTC, and what we're doing now. Like I said, a lot of stuff in the works. Can't really talk much about anything in the works because most of that's hush hush secret. But there is some stuff that we definitely want to try doing, like me especially, because I'm content director and stuff. I've got a list going of stuff I want to push out, so I'm excited to get that organized and set up at some point in the future. When, I have no idea, but this was kind of priority for me, just so we can put, company to faces and stuff and personality. Definitely just to put stuff out there in the world, because hopefully I can if I put it out in the world, maybe it'll happen. I definitely want to start doing D&D again in some way with Mutiny Theater Company, because it's been, I think, 3-4 months since the last in-person D&D session we did with our group, Chase.
And I gotta join
it's
character.
Yeah, you gotta get a character, Trey.
well, we played D&D.
I have a character now. I have a
Me and
character.
Trey 1-on-1.
Yeah.
That's right. I totally wiped the floor with your ass, dude.
But
Yeah.
I've got a book that's like filled with stuff that I really wanted to push into the plot of the other campaign. But at this moment, I'm going to assume it's dead in the water because I haven't, which is sad. It's very sad to say because I've had that thing next session planned for a while. But I think everyone's busy. So, I mean, sadly, I can only assume that it's dead. But I do want to start a D&D at least campaign or something on this channel. I think that would be cool with some of the people in this company. I think we could do some cool.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
This is the part of the podcast where we do our Stanley Kubrick stare off, right? So we all three have to do our best impression of the Stanley Kubrick stare. Ready?
Who's
3,
that?
2, 1, go. Can't smile. All right, and that concludes that segment. That was super fun. We always have great new content for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We always do new crazy stuff like that.
Let's do this. Trey, what's the craziest shit you've ever seen? It doesn't have to be MTC related. What is the I'm being pro, like a genuine story, like the craziest shit you've ever seen.
Craziest thing I've ever seen. Oh
Yeah.
man. Like, kind of boring, dude. I don't know. Hold on.
All right, well, while you think, Evan, do you know anything?
Like I wouldn't say I've the craziest thing, but I will say it's a crazy experience. My sister once upon a time owned a pet rat, and nearing the end of its life, it was very much very harsh towards anybody. So when we were petting it, because sometimes it's nice and sometimes it's not, it straight up bit me on the wrist and cut me open, drawing blood. And so now I've got a scar on my wrist, like right here, from that rat that has not gone away since then.
Kill it?
Okay.
You wanted crazy, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
What's yours, Trey?
I don't even know. I'm so vanilla and boring. I don't even know. I can't even think.
I'll tell you where I was going with this.
Okay.
I was at a convention, an anime convention with some voiceovers, and I was doing assistant work, and I was basically being like a coffee boy. And at the end of the night, my friends were there, so I met them at a fire pit, and we had a bunch of people around there. And I asked that question, and everybody was giving like kind of medium stories, like some Evan type stories, and like.
Why you gotta do me like that, man?
There was like a super, like everybody was dressed up in cosplay, right? Not me. I was on a business job. My friends weren't either. But we were in the circle, and everybody was in cosplay except for this one dude. So like, he had these thick like Urkel glasses on. He had some tight slacks, not like fashionably tight slacks, like slacks that he didn't fit into, and then like a button-down shirt. He was just kind of sitting there, like, you can't really see how I'm sitting. Like, yeah, you can't see that way either. All right, well, his like legs were crossed, and he was like kind of hunched over, like super reserved. And I was like, hey, what's the craziest shit you've seen, man? Like, you've just been sitting here, you haven't said anything. Like, what's the craziest shit you've seen? And he was like, I used to go on Reddit and visit sex dungeons. So he would go on Reddit. He explains in great detail, which I'm about to relay to you. He went to Reddit, and he would find people that had sex dungeons. So he went to this big house in I forgot what state it was, but we'll just say I don't know, like Ohio or some shit. He there was this big like castle-esque house, but it was in like a suburban area, and like all these cars were parked outside, and he went in, and there was this fountain in the middle, and a bunch of people were like just all surrounding it and like talking, and he literally said it was like a scene out of a movie. And then there was a basement, and everybody was like talking about going down to the basement and seeing what was happening, and there were people fucking everywhere. And when I say like having intercourse everywhere, like people were butt naked having intercourse, and he was open about this. He was saying that like he enjoyed this type of stuff. So then he went down to the basement, and it was called, the basement was called like Extreme Kinks or something. And it was like, basically there was a guy standing out there telling him like, hey, there's a warning, you're gonna see some stuff, but if you want to go see it, go see it. So he's alone, and he would go alone. That's the crazy thing. How do you know you're not gonna get murdered? So he went into the basement, and all these people were huddled around in a big circle, and he couldn't really see like past them. So he was like, all right, let's push through so I can see. And there's a girl, and by the way, this is her thing. This is not like a murder that happened or anything. Like, this is what she liked. She had an an asphyxiation kink. And she would hold out a handkerchief, and she would have a guy hold something to her face. And when the handkerchief dropped, because she lost consciousness, the guy would like catch her. And then people would just like clap and like watch it and stuff with their meat out. They had like their meat in their hand. And I was like, wow. Moving on. What's the craziest shit you've seen? It was a wild story. I won't go into great detail, but
do you get an address?
No. Yeah, Evan was in chat asking about it.
He just messaged me in chat. He said it a million times. He's like, where?
Sorry, my friend wanted to know.
Yeah, don't stand up.
I'm leaning over.
So now I like ask that question. I'm just waiting for somebody to top that. You know what I mean? Like I want that to be not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Actually, I got one, but okay. I was involved with it, but it didn't happen.
Can you say it? Be ready to edit post production just in case we incriminate them.
Mine's not nearly as bad as that. Mine won't be nearly as foul and disgusting and evil as that one.
Is it something I should be worried about, like editing out of this episode?
No, you'll be good.
Okay, good.
We'll decide that, Evan.
Okay.
So this is called The Tale of the Master Bandit. Alright? That's what it's been dubbed. Alright?
Master Bandit.
Who's dubbed it? You or the other people?
Me and my friends in high school. Right?
It sounds close to something else. And I feel like it's not.
You'll see here. You'll
yeah,
see.
there it is.
So, here's what happened. So in high school, I was just like I am now, super boring vanilla person. I that's why I can't even tell my own crazy story. I have to tell someone else's crazy story that I just happen to be involved with. Here's what happened. Sophomore year of high school. I was going to chemistry class like any other day. And I come into class, and me and my good friend, I'll say Caleb. His name is Caleb. Me and my good friend Caleb are sitting in the back of the class like we always do. We would always just goof off and have fun and just make merriment. You know, we just goofed off, and it was great. It was a fun time. He was he was like a big dude, like he was kind of built. And he had that kind of face that was like, you look intimidating, but you're like the nicest, most like wholesome person I've ever met. And he really was. He was also funny. He was funny as hell. And like everyone loved him. He was like that kind of person where it's like no one could ever say anything bad about him. He's like the perfect dude. Like nothing deserves. He's like this. He's like, you know how they'll be like, oh, ooh, precious cinnamon roll. He's like that guy. He's like, that's him, right? He's like he's the most like good person. He's great. And he's always got like a good he's got
He's
like
good. He's
a
cool.
personality. You know, he's always up. He's always energetic.
Yeah. Okay.
One day in chemistry, something was off, and he was sitting at his desk to my right, just kind of like really quiet, just like kind of like fidgeting with his fingers and stuff. And I was like, Caleb, what's on today, buddy? You doing all right? And without looking at me, he goes, it was like Marcellus Wallace. He's like, nah, man, I'm pretty fucking far from all right now. And I was like, I'm sorry that your hamster passed away. That's just what I was assuming. Like, I'm sorry that I assumed the worst. And I was like, well, do you want to talk about it? And he was like, yeah, man. This is what he tells me. He says, before first period, I went to the bathroom. First class is in the band hall. The band hall at my high school. There's the theater classes, the band, the choir, all of those are in that hallway, and they always have their class in first period. And it was just a few minutes before the starting bell for first period. And he goes to the bathroom. You know, he leaves the class before it starts, and he goes to the bathroom. Here's what he sees in the bathroom. He walks in. He sees a man standing in the middle of the bathroom, alone. His pants to his ankles, facing door, facing the entrance, facing the exit, pants to ankles, hand on his weapon, if you know what I mean.
His penis.
Going to town, going at it, just full force, just like shirt up, like all that, like shirt up, like pant, like ankles down, just like going at it.
Hold it in his mouth.
Full force, right? My friend Caleb sees it, walks out immediately, just like gone. I was like, oh my god, that's horrible. Did you like? I hate to ask, but like, did you get a good look at this sicko? Did you see what he looked like? He was like, dude, I'm never gonna forget what that guy looked like. He's ingrained in my memory. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna get to the bottom of this shit. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. So I went into my backpack. I pulled out like some sketch paper. I pulled out colored pencils. And I said, describe him to me. And he takes the pencils and the colored he takes all the colored pencils, all that stuff, and he starts drawing this guy. And he draws him really accurately. Like scary accurate, like hair color, hair length, height, build, like his shoes, his pants, the jacket, all of it. Everything.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Hair goes to about his shoulders. Brown hair, brown eyes.
Close. You were right about the hair length. Yeah.
Damn it! You just went like this. That was the only reason I knew.
Yeah. You got that. You got that much. So he draws this guy. He draws a caricature of this guy so accurately.
A caricature of the guy masturbating. He draws the exact image as in his head.
As if he had his pants on still and his shirt, down.
Not up in his mouth.
Yeah, he wasn't here and down. Like, God forbid, we're in chemistry. I mean, come on. Like, so he finishes, and then he's like, well, what else do you know? He's like, well, I know
Who finishes?
And now I know his first period. I know his second period. I've walked past him before on my way to fourth period. He starts writing out this dude's schedule based on like where he has seen him before. And I was like, wait, I've seen him too. He's got sixth period this time. And we're like mapping out this dude. And we're studying every aspect about him. Screw the chemistry lecture. This is important. And we're like, do you know his name? I'm like, do you know this guy's name? I have no idea what his name is. The worst part is I see him every day. Like I recognize this guy. I walk past him on my way to so many different classes. I'm like, well, if we don't know this guy's name, we got to come up with something to call him. And I just wrote. I was like, give me the paper. And I wrote on the paper. I wrote Master Bandit. The Master Bandit. We got to find this guy. I put wanted, Master Bandit. Then we had all the information about him: eye color, height, all that stuff with the caricature of him, and we ripped it out of the book. We're like, gotta take this son of a bitch down. So what we did was we went to my buddy who had like a really nice he put it into Photoshop. Like we told him the whole story, and he was like, we gotta stop this bastard. So we were on a crusade. He puts it into Photoshop. He like touches it up. He prints out like a few hundred copies of this wanted poster of this guy. We start handing them out to people. We say, "Have you seen this guy? Have you seen this man?" They're like,
that dude,
Master Bandit?
that'd be awful. Why? Yeah, he's in the wrong. But why?
This is like
Why?
the PETA incident, but to the extreme.
PETA?
Now I know that sounds
Peanut.
bad. I know that
Oh,
sounds
Peanut.
bad.
Like the wanted poster.
Have y'all seen the Trout Lady video that's been going around TikTok?
Oh.
I don't do TikTok.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah, it's gross.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's gross. I'll tell y'all later. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, tell me
It's
after.
just-
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
That was my story. We ended up dropping it. We ended up dropping the case.
God. Thank
Yeah,
God.
we found him. We found his name. We got that, and nothing else happened. I'll say that much. Nothing else happened. Had a gaff. We had goofs and gaffs. We enjoyed like having these. We didn't like hang him up anywhere. Obviously, we would just be like, "Hey, have you seen this guy? Have you seen that guy? No, you recognize this guy?" That was it. Nothing else came of it, and his reputation was not ruined, even though it very easily could have been. Nothing bad happened to the guy. I'll say that much. Right? Even though something bad could have happened, and I might have felt bad if that did happen. Like if his life got ruined and he had to like move or something, I would have felt horrible. But it didn't happen. Okay, so there's a silver lining in this. The true silver
Jennifer
lining.
Lawrence.
Here's the moral. Wait, here's the moral of the story.
Jesus Christ.
Don't jerk off at school. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Please. And if you do have to jerk off at school, go into the stall, please, and get it quick. Do it quick, please. Like, class starts in 2 minutes. Get it done quick. Go into the stall. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the moral of the story.
Have y'all heard the saying "run your ass off"?
Oh.
Y'all haven't heard like you should run your ass off.
No,
Oh,
I don't think I've ever.
How
heard
about
of
work your ass off?
that one?
Yeah.
I've heard of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So work your ass off, run your ass off. I've seen somebody do it.
You've seen someone work their ass off?
Run their ass off.
Oh.
We were in 8th grade football, and we had we called it it was called the Coach Light special. So Coach Light would make us do bear crawls across the field, barrel roll back across the field, and sprint across the field. So it was 300 yards. We had to bear crawl 100, roll 100, and then sprint. So one of the linemen, I'll keep his name out of it, but he did the barrel rolls. We were waiting on him. We're like, come on, run. The coach was running with him and was saying, you better pick it up. You better do this. Keep it going. Go faster. Dude ran so hard, he collapsed. And they thought he passed out, but he was crying and screaming. He had torn both of his ass cheeks.
Oh.
Like the muscle, the gluteus maximus, ripped it right at the crease, and like ripped it. So he had to have a wheelchair because he ran his ass off.
Oh shit! Like actually like tore his like.
Tore, not fucking around. He didn't pull it. He tore it.
Damn, that would be a lengthy recovery. Holy shit!
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's horrible. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So if anybody ever says that, just know it's happened.
Real.
Like my older brother, he's tore his Achilles tendon, which is that one like on like above your heel.
I have an older brother too.
Fun fact.
Cool.
He tore that, and that
Here's
tendon,
my older brother.
Here he is.
Yeah. Oh,
Put his name. We'll put his name.
here's
on
my older brother again. He's right there.
Enhance that, Evan, and then put his name on screen. And then put all of his contact information if you want to reach out to him.
Right.
If you want to reach out to Chase's brother, call this number on screen. We'll get you in contact with him.
Here's another one.
You could have one evening with this man. Call this number on screen.
Here's.
How many posters?
How many pictures do you have right next to you?
Oh yeah, why are they all right there?
Another one. Where is he on this one? He's right there. That's Andrew Cunningham. He was Brandon Cunningham. He was a kicker. There's my brother again. Right there. It's my brother.
Are we keeping this in the podcast?
Yeah. Here's my brother again. He's all those pictures. Here's my brother again.
My God.
Give you an A on your project.
I'll give you 2 guesses on who the favorite is.
Between the 2 of you?
Yeah. And then here is my grandpa.
It's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many framed pictures around the house are there of you?
Not as much.
I mean, I'm the one. I'm the youngest of 3, and I don't have any footage of me as a baby. There is no footage of me when I'm a child at all. But there's tons of it from my brothers. There's none of it from me.